All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to break down Green World's male care package. We're going to look at exactly how they market this thing, from the way they define the problem to the solution they present, all based on their own videos and product pages.
So, let's start with the big question. The wellness industry, as you know, often targets very specific anxieties. The material we're looking at today really zeroes in on a few key male health issues, and it frames them as this problem that's not only really widespread, but also getting worse.
Okay, so here's the plan for our breakdown. First, we'll look at the big, widespread problem they talk about. Then, we'll get into the 3 specific issues they focus on. After that, we'll see how they explain the prostate's role in all this, introduce their male care package, and finally, we'll check out the key ingredients and the lifestyle advice they give. Let's get into it. So, the way they kick things off is by framing the issue on a global scale. The message is clear. These male sexual health challenges aren't just a personal thing. They're a huge, growing, worldwide problem that needs a solution. This really sets the stage for everything else. And this quote, which is pulled straight from their video, is so central to their whole pitch. The stated goal here isn't just to sell you something, it's to educate you, with the idea being that if you understand what's going on, that's the first real step to getting things under control. Okay, so they've set the stage with this idea of knowledge. But what exactly are they talking about? Well, their presentation gets really specific really fast. It narrows the whole conversation down to 3 conditions that they say are at the root of the problem.
And here they are. The entire narrative is basically built around these 3 pillars: prostate disorders, erectile dysfunction, and premature ejaculation. The way they present it, these aren't separate issues, but are all interconnected, forming what they call male weakness.
First up is BPH. Now, the presentation explains this is a non-cancerous enlargement of the prostate, and they make it a point to say this is a super common thing for men over the age of 50, which right away establishes a really clear target audience.
The second issue they tackle is erectile dysfunction, ED. The definition they use is very direct, focusing on the functional side of things, performance and satisfaction, which they later connect to both physical causes and psychological ones.
Now, to really drive home how common they say ED is, they hit you with this number, 52%. They cite an American survey that apparently found that 52% of men between 40 and 70 have experienced it in some form. This statistic is key to their argument that this is a mainstream concern, not some rare condition.
And the last piece of their puzzle is premature ejaculation. Again, a very direct definition. But what's really interesting here is the demographic shift. Remember, BPH was for men over 50? Well, the video positions PE as the most common sexual issue for men under 40.
Okay, so to tie all these things together, they actually give us a quick anatomy lesson. They use some simple diagrams to show you visually how the prostate's physical condition can have a direct impact on both urinary and sexual function. It makes the problem feel a lot less abstract and much more, mechanical.
And this visual, this right here, is the heart of the mechanical problem they're describing. Look, on the left, with a normal prostate, the urethra is wide open. But on the right, an enlarged prostate is squeezing it tight. And they really emphasize that since this one tube carries both urine and semen, this single constriction becomes the root cause for a whole bunch of symptoms.
So, building right off that visual, the video then lists out all these symptoms. And you can see how it all connects, right? A squeezed urethra, well, that logically leads to things like frequent or difficult urination and even potential blockages. And then they link that same physical blockage to reduced sexual performance and even pain.
So, after they've spent all this time laying out the problem, its causes, its symptoms, what comes next? The solution, of course. And this is where the male care package makes its entrance, positioned as this comprehensive way to tackle all the issues they just outlined.
The package itself is actually made up of a few different supplements, and each one is supposed to do something specific. According to their materials, Vig Power is for ED and P. Kidney tonifying is all about invigorating the kidneys to improve sexuality. The zinc tablet is framed as support for fertility. And finally, ProstaSure, or prostate care, is meant to directly target those urinary symptoms we just talked about.
But they don't just stop at listing the products. They actually go a layer deeper. They zoom in on certain ingredients to explain how they're supposed to work. And they also pair the whole supplement regimen with a set of lifestyle tips. Take this, for example. It's a direct quote from the Vig Power product page, and it's highlighting a key ingredient, fructus slicei. The claim is really twofold. First, that it energizes the body, and second, that it actually helps prolong ejaculation time, which they say improves satisfaction overall.
And it's interesting because some of these ingredients do pop up in scientific research. For instance, a 2021 study mentions that fructus lychee and another ingredient in Vig Power, semen kaskukte, are a commonly used herbal pair for treating male infertility. So there is academic work being done on these herbs.
The source material really leans into some powerful, almost poetic language to make its point. Just listen to this quote about the kidney being the minister of power. This comes from their description of the kidney tonifying product, and it really places the kidney at the absolute center of male vitality in their health philosophy.
But here's a really crucial point. The whole presentation doesn't just rely on its products. It also gives a list of pretty conventional health advice. Eat a low-fat diet, get more fruits and vegetables, maintain a healthy weight, and exercise regularly. I mean, these are all standard recommendations you'd hear for overall wellness.
And that's what it all comes down to, right? It leaves us with this big question. The materials present you with two paths, a product-based solution with the male care package and a series of lifestyle changes. So it makes you wonder about the relationship between the two and which path, or maybe what combination of them, is meant to be the real answer to the concerns they lay out. Definitely something to think about.